Hello, everybody. This is Jodi Ashbrook, and I am so excited to be here today to bring you a meeting of Debbie Lynn of Massachusetts. Is that correct?
Yes, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yep.
Massachusetts, and founder of the Ultimate Healing Journey. She's a nurse. She does laughter yoga. She's also a positive, let me see if I can get this right, positive psychology practitioner.
Yes.
And also a graduate of mindful-based stress reduction. And also does mindfulness work in the school system with kids K through 12.
Yep.
So I tried to go as much from memory as possible, but there's a lot of stuff there. And that just kind of gives you the holistic approach that I think, we're going to talk about more that you take today with the workshops that you do, but also how you offer your work to the community, both in the workshop setting, but also in your book. So you are previously a published author, but also launching another book in July, correct?
Yes.
So your book that was previously published is 7 Techniques to living or creating your awesome. And awesome is the acronym, which I know you're going to tell us what that means, correct?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And the book that is launching in July is the Happiness Result.
Well, actually, they're one and the same. I have the print version right now of the Happiness Results, which talks about the AWESOME acronym, which stands for the 7 different pillars that unfolded for me in my personal growth and professional growth. And so that's launching in July, the published version. So that way people can now buy that online. So if I could just dive right in to what AWESOME is, the acronym AWESOME, it stands for authenticity, wonderment, empowerment, self-compassion, optimism, mindfulness, and enjoyment. These are the different paths that led me to gaining more time, more love, more health, and more success in the midst of my busy day working as a nurse part-time, being an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, being a mom, a wife, daughter of aging parents, my mother being a 3-time cancer survivor, and my dad having, cardiac issues, who are both, luckily, they are so young at heart that they're thriving, they're doing really well, but it's still, trying to find the peace in the midst of all that and still have the ability to put a smile on and be the change that I want to see in this world.
So thank you for sharing the acronym and the breakdown of AWESOME, because I think it kind of gives us a framework to begin our conversation. And that's really what we're here to talk about today, is understanding more of how did you come to this path that you're on. I mean, you do so many different things from what I've shared, your background in nursing, your background working in the school systems, and your 7 pillars, which sounds to me like they've become a way not only that you are sharing through your writing and through your work, but it's a way that you live your life. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, how did you come to this path that you're on?
It just pretty much unfolded on its own. For me personally, I've always valued feeling good. I love helping people feel better and helping them feel better about themselves. So eventually growing up, I went into nursing and I took care of so many hundreds of people, helped them feel better. But at the same time, I've noticed throughout the years that, almost the same people would keep coming back because of stress-related ailments, because of them not feeling good about themselves, not feeling good about their life situation, their work. So I felt that, it was time for me to start exploring different ways for me to reach out in the community and do preventative ways to teach, to do workshops, to do trainings, to help people feel good about where they are at in their life. And so that's when I started my company, Ultimate Healing Journey, where I do speaking, I do keynote speaking, and I do workshops and coaching as well. And it's been a profound experience for me. And as I would help people unfold into this beautiful version of themselves, it just gave me such, reassurance that I was doing the right, I was following the right path. And of course, me being an avid love of learning, I love learning different, unique, practical ways, simple and proven ways to help people feel better. And that's where the laughter yoga comes in, because, hey, laughter is the best medicine, right? Mm-hmm. And so, that just got me hooked into another different way of helping people feel better about themselves through the use of laughter. And there's research proven ways that supports that. And then there comes positive psychology, the science of happiness and peak performance and flourishing. Another science that's proven that there's simple ways that we could start adapting into our life that can actually help us thrive, feel better, become more focused, and just feel good about ourselves. So it's just been a great journey for me. As I would learn something, I would grow into the person, more and more of the person I've always wanted to be. And that's just such a great blessing. And when people see me, they're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing differently? Have you lost weight? What are you doing? And why are you so happy? And that's when it was further reinforced why I feel like, you know what? I need to just start telling people how easy it is, because they can do it too. We have it within our own resources. Yeah.
So, you mentioned quite a bit, helping people feel better, and that people were coming back to you just wanting to feel better.
Yeah.
And you also shared some of the tools that you've learned along the way, incorporated for yourself, but also sharing with others. Can you maybe give us the high level overview of how does that process of helping someone to feel better, how does that work in a 2-hour workshop? Or from your books or from your writing? How would someone who comes to one of your workshops, which, by the way, you're going to be doing 2 at the Hingham Open Doors, one at the end of July, on the 7 pillars of awesome, and then also one at the end of August on mindfulness and productivity and calm, that really just using those tools that you talked about, which we'll talk about that again later. But so thinking about that in a 2-hour workshop, so if I'm sitting and I'm watching and I'm thinking, well, that sounds great to feel better, but I've been feeling not good for years. So if I'm watching this and I'm thinking about some of the things that you're saying, how does that process begin to happen in a 2-hour workshop?
Good question. I don't know about you, but when I take classes, I start checking out after a few minutes if somebody is just bombarding me with facts and research all after the one after the other. After a while, it just feels like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. What am I going to take away from this? Whenever I do any type of presentation, whether it's an hour, half hour, or 2 hours, or an all day, I always start with a technique of grounding, just to kind of get people moving, helping me ground myself as well. But it's just a way for people to get present. And then I explain what to expect that day, and just pretty much some ground rules, which really is no ground rules except for them to experience what they need to experience that day, because they came for a reason. And I'm very big on intention. Everybody signs up for a workshop for a reason. I create a workshop for a reason. So we create an intention as a group, and then I just start and I explain what it is they're going to learn, a little bit about research, just to kind of get their buy-in, because a lot of people come from many different experiences. Some people will automatically gravitate to what I'm saying. Other people need to know, hey, did you just make that up? So I like to mix some fun with some facts. And then I start sharing my stories, because I don't like to teach anything really unless I've experienced it and I know that it works. That way I know that I'm the expert. I'm an expert in what I'm trying to share with them. And then we start practicing. I like engaging people. We start moving. We sit, we move, we do techniques, we share, we reflect. There's a lot of things going on. It's not just them sitting, me talking. That to me is a waste of everybody's time. I want people to come away with at least 1 or 2 techniques that they could start owning right there and then be excited to share with other people. Because when I teach something, I know that people will learn if they take that other step of them teaching whatever it is that they learn to another person, because that becomes more of a nice learning experience.
So let's say someone who's watching is not able to make it to one of the workshops that you're teaching at the Hingham Open Doors, either in July or August. And let's say they live in California, but they're watching, they like what you have to say. What are some practical day-to-day ways someone could take the principles that you teach and really incorporate them into their day-to-day experience? What are, one to three things that you could provide someone to take away from this short 30-minute conversation and actually implement into their day-to-day to feel better, as you said, to become happier?
Mm-hmm. First of all, get my book, The Happiness Result, because that has a whole lot of different techniques, each dedicated to each pillar that they could start incorporating. Another thing is for them to just start taking the time for themselves, giving themselves permission to be human. And that's why I love talking about self-compassion along with other topics like mindfulness and gratitude, the workshop I'll be doing at the end of August. So giving yourself permission to be human, giving yourself permission to just take the time. And then another aspect is just breathing. I know a lot of people say, okay, take a nice deep breath, calm down. Until you fully experience the power of the breath, how it can really calm you down when you are about to yell at somebody, or when you're about to send that nasty email, or when you're about to cut somebody off on the highway. Until you really experience the power of that, you can't really begin to, it's just so amazing. It's just amazing. So using your breath, and really there's hundreds of different exercises, but breathing techniques, diaphragmatic breath, just remembering to breathe even, that's so important. So remembering to breathe, giving yourself time to give yourself a break from any mistakes or failures that you made, and just moving forward. And being mindful of how you react to things too. So it's a lot of self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-care. Those are three different things I would have to say. Self-awareness, self-care, and self-compassion. Those are three of what I could share with people right now that would help them.
Okay. So great tips, by the way. And I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm really trying to put myself in someone's shoes who's watching and hearing you say, take time for myself, breathe, and mindfulness and self-care. So first off, can you give us from your perspective, what does mindfulness mean and what does it look like day to day?
Mindfulness, it means, for me, it means just being aware, being purposely aware of what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and just being purposely aware, being in the moment.
That's tough, right? Like if you think about the day to day, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, it's really tough. And there's other experts out there who say, oh, it's purposely being in the moment without judgment. That's basically the definition that's provided to us by Jon Kabat-Zinn. There's another expert. By the way, Jon Kabat-Zinn is the father of mindfulness. That's the way he's being called. And then the mother of mindfulness is Ellen Langer, a Harvard researcher. And her take on mindfulness is she feels that mindfulness is the science of possibilities, where if we use our intention and surround ourselves with positive images or images that'll help us feel better about ourselves, people. It could be people, it could be posters or quotes or anything. We surround ourselves with all these positive things purposely, then we'll thrive, we'll become more positive, we'll become more successful. So the way I practice mindfulness, it's in the middle, because I do love surrounding myself with positive images and positive people, and also like to do the practice where there's the meditation part and there's the breathing, and there's, you know, there's different ways of, there's so many different mindfulness techniques actually, thinking about, you know, as far as mindfulness, mindful thoughts, mindful movement, mindful body. So mindfulness is purposely just being aware. Purposely being aware of what you're doing in the moment and how you're feeling, with no judgment.
Well, and I really love what you said about, you know, mindfulness of the thoughts, mindfulness of the body, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day, the work, the to-do lists, you know, whatever's happening in the moment. And whatever's happening in the moment might not always be helping you to stay mindful, right? You mentioned the email that you get that makes you just want to react and respond, and you get, it's so easy to get caught up into other energy, things that happen that kind of pull you out of that mindfulness state, right? But I love what you said about, you know, just being conscious of your thoughts, because when you're conscious of your thoughts, for me and my personal journey, that's been so powerful to stay connected to, how is what I'm thinking helping me, or maybe not helping me or hurting me, you know, in the moment. And how is that tying to my actions, my body language, my behavior? So thank you for that just overview on mindfulness, because I think you did a really nice job of connecting all pieces of what mindfulness is about and how it shows up, you know, in a very real situation, your words, your body, your thoughts. I mean, those are, I don't know what the statistic is, but how many thoughts you think in a matter of seconds or a day?
50 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 50 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And for us to be mindfully aware of all those thoughts would drive us nuts. So mindfulness helps us purposely select the positive ones, or at least help us notice, become aware of the negative ones that's going to ruminate in our mind, that's going to debilitate us or depress us. So mindfulness, from what I love about mindfulness is I learned so much about myself, how I react to things, how stress react, you know, how my body reacts to stress, the different thoughts that runs in my mind, questioning that. It's given me more control over my decision. It's helped me make more conscious and confident and clear choices in what serves me best. And I just, it's been a life-changing practice, because, you know, we have such a negative bias. A lot of psychologists would say we have a negative bias. Negative experiences, emotions stick to us like Velcro. Whereas positive experiences, it just kind of slides like Teflon. So it takes a lot more positive experiences to help us feel better about ourselves. And mindfulness is a nice way to help make those positive experiences stick, and it helps the negative experiences come away or peel off. That's how powerful mindfulness is.
So that's such a great point, because I love what you said about the positive experiences just kind of come and slide off like Teflon. We have a tendency, or at least, you know, the way you described it, I really connect to we don't give as much weight to the positive experiences as we might the negative experiences. So keeping in mind of what you're saying about mindfulness, keeping in mind mindfulness, when we have a positive experience or an accomplishment or something happens that we've worked really hard for, or we overcome technical difficulties like we did just 20 minutes ago, how do we, what would be your recommendation to mindfully take a moment and take that in, rather than having it be the Teflon approach, because I think that's really common. We have a tendency to dismiss the positive, like, oh, okay, that's great, keep on moving. But the negative can consume us.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, one of the best ways to anchor the positive emotions is journaling. When you write something down, you're claiming it. So that one of the ways that I do it is doing a gratitude journal or even a success journal. Because as you write things down, it forces you to reflect back on the positive experience. And beyond that, you're living that experience over again. And so you get that extra jolt of positivity. It makes you feel good that, hey, I did do something with this day, even though it was crazy busy. I did do something positive. Because again, we tend to rely, or we hang on to what we didn't do, or I should have done that better, or tomorrow I got to do this, or why did that person do that to me? That consumes us. But when we purposely take the time to write things down and say, I was able to accomplish, I wrote this program and it helped people. Or this person said hi to me who I haven't seen in a long time. Or just, it doesn't have to be a big positive action. It just could be something small. Or this person bought me coffee who I haven't seen in a long, just all these different things, because that adds weight to the positivity that, that we're experiencing that day. It makes us feel better. And so by the end of the day, we're going to bed with positive thoughts. We're not going to bed in such a state of tension, So it helps us really soothe and melt into our bed and help us sleep better. So it helps us unhook from all these negative things and focus on the good, because the more we focus on the good, the more that we'll appreciate. You know how we focus on certain things? When we look for something bad, we see all bad. When we focus on good, we see all good.
Well, and it's so interesting. And I want to get us to a point where we're kind of wrapping this up here. But the gratitude journal or the success journal is such an interesting concept, because I think for me, I connect journaling to, let me get out everything on paper that has gone wrong or I'm upset about. Let me get it out so I'm not holding on to it. I've heard of, writing down, things that you're grateful for, but again, that Teflon, that doesn't really stick with me. I've gone back to that habit of, let me journal everything that, feels like a negative emotion inside, or sadness. I think a lot of times people equate journaling with more of that negativity or things that are not going well. And so I appreciate your spin on in what you're sharing of the success journal or the gratitude journal, because you're right. It completely shifts your focus and your energy and your thought process when you're able to say, wow, I did this today, or I was able to take a deep breath when I got that email that I wanted to respond back to right away. I was proud of myself that I was able to take a step back. Like you said, it doesn't have to be these huge things that you're writing down. And that's really where as you kind of connecting back to the mindfulness of every single thought, every one of those actions that really have the ability to have an impact, positive or negative, taking more inventory of those positive thoughts.
Right.
Especially before, like you said, you go to bed. And I could only imagine how it would, going back to that self-care that you talk about, just kind of put you at ease.
Yeah, it just puts us in the driver's seat. When we practice the mindful actions of taking care of ourselves, deep breathing, journaling, just being mindful before we send that email. It puts us in that space where we're in control, because the society, a lot of people are saying, oh, I feel like so out of control, I'm overwhelmed. Yeah. Let's control what we can control. Let's control what we can control. And one of the ways we could do that is through mindfulness. And mindfulness doesn't have to be like a 20-minute meditation in the garden. No. You could be walking from your office to another person's office and do a mindful walk, really feeling the ground you're walking on, the carpeting, or going up the stairs and really noticing your breath. And just the more you can get back into your mind-body system, when you enter the next experience, you are fully there. You're not in that altered, the argument that happened 3 weeks ago that nobody apologized for, or you're not in the future trying to think about the next event that the company needs to, set up. You're there. So you are doing yourself a service when you're there fully for the people, and you become, like what I say, the C note, because when you are in that state where you are mindful, you are a leader, you're a manifester, you become powerful, and a lot of people take notice in that, and it helps them also take a deep breath. When they see that you're in control and confident and calm, it gives them, or at least reminds them, to take a nice deep breath. It's like, oh, wow, that person looks calm. I feel like I'm safe.
Yep. It's like, I want, right. You look at somebody else and you go, I want what they have, you see just that peace.
Yeah. So it's a very powerful way of living when you can be in that state of mindfulness. There's grace and power in it that unless you start practicing it in different ways in your life, driving, drinking your coffee, drinking your tea, eating that cheesecake, or munching on that fry, unless you fully, purposely pay attention to those little activities with all of your senses, you can't really begin to understand the power of it. It's actually fun. It's really fun. Kids love it.
Well, I would love to sit and talk with you for the next hour if we could. I really would. I feel like I've learned so much just in the short 30 minutes, and hopefully you all have as well. We will be sharing this broadcast to not only share the content, Debbie, that you shared today, but also to make people aware, again, that you are going to be doing 2 workshops in Hingham, Massachusetts, at the Hingham Open Doors location. And that is at 400 Lincoln Street, right next to Marshall's, which we all know where Marshall's is. So your one workshop will be on Saturday, July 30th. Second workshop will be on August the 28th. And the workshop in July, again, is on the pillars of awesome. And so sharing more about what that entails and how to apply that to your life. And then the workshop at the end of August, as you said, will be on creating more of that mindfulness, creating more time, being more productive, how to bring more of that calm into your space. So, and not to forget the book that you have coming out in July, which is super exciting. Again, a happiness result. But if somebody wanted to find out more about you right away and watch some of your awesome YouTube videos that you already have up on your channel, where would they go? What is your website?
My website is healthandhappinessspecialist.com. And also my book, which is, this is a print copy right here. Yay! The print copy of the book. Well, I'm very excited about it. It has its own website. The website is The Happiness Result. So people can get an alert. If they sign up there, they can get an alert on when the book's going to be available. I'm also on Facebook, Health and Happiness Specialist. I have a page there. And Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram. So
they can find you everywhere.
I'm everywhere. So I'm very excited to do the workshops at Open Doors in Hingham. Just very excited to share the 7 pillars of awesome in July, and also the mindfulness and gratitude. People who've taken the workshops have found great shifts in the way they are during a day, and it's just amazing. So I hope to see people there. Love it. It's going to be fun.
Well, thank you again, Debbie Lyn. Appreciate your time today. And
thank you.
We'll be sharing more of your content through the Open Doors Hingham Facebook page, but I will also be sharing it on through my site and my page at drjodiashbrook.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again, everyone. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.